I don't know if you can hear my electric meter beeping in the background. The sound of poor people. Hi! So, welcome back to my channel. I have had quite an interesting couple of days actually. It's finally October, which is so great. I love October, it's one of my favourite months of the year. Obviously because Halloween at the end of it, but also because it like starts getting properly colder and autumny, and autumn's like my very favourite time of the season. There's so much great stuff about autumn. Like even just going out for walks is so much better because leaves, crunchy leaves, conkers, acorns, all that great stuff. One of my friends actually for my birthday in August bought me a Yankee Candle burner with some wax tartlets, which is the sort of thing that I love but I would never buy for myself. And I've become properly obsessed with it now. Like putting that on in the evening when the heat's on and you've got this lovely smell going around your living room. Oh, it's so great and I'm so obsessed. I also kind of want to just make it known that I do have some cats. You'll hear some cats in my videos. Sometimes you'll hear some purring because they'll sit beside the phone. I apologise, I've no idea how to stop them doing it. I've done my hair. Do you like it? This is my October hair. Excuse my horrible teeth. I did it the other day. I got a bit bored. I did it the other day. Every time I change my hair, I'm like, yes, this is it. This is the one. This is the hair that I'm going to keep. And then after a couple of weeks, I'm like, I'm a bit bored of that now. I'll do something different. So the ends of my hair are like, they've been lightened so many times. They're literally just dust. So we just ignore that and keep on going. Yeah, so I got the Yankee tartlets. I got a couple specifically for Halloween. I'm going to keep them. I'm not going to burn them until like it's properly Halloween. One is Autumn Nights. It doesn't really smell like autumn. It kind of smells like a man's aftershave, but it might be nice when it's out in the air. We'll see how that goes. The other one is one of their actual proper Halloween ones. It's called Candy Corn. I'm not sure what candy corn's meant to smell like, but this one doesn't really smell of anything. I only bought it because it was orange and I liked it. And the other flavours they had were like Witch's Brew, which was and Poisonous Apple, which was really bright green appley, but I'm not a huge fan of appley smells unless it's got like nice cinnamon and stuff in it, so I just kind of gave that a miss. I was like, try the candy corn. I'll report on that one when I burn it, see what it's like. I also tried basic white girl moment. I also tried the Starbucks pumpkin frappuccino this week. And I was pretty impressed. I had my first pumpkin spice latte last autumn and I drank it and I was like, oh my god, this is actually disgusting. It was vile. It literally tasted like somebody had melted some plastic or rubber tires, poured it into a cup. It was horrifying and I was like, oh, never trying that again. But a friend of mine told me that he had tried the frappuccino and it was amazing, and I tried it and it was amazing. The sugar rush afterwards was incredible. And like the come down afterwards not so incredible, but it was totally worth trying. And the girl at the counter told us that apparently they've changed the pumpkin spice latte recipe to be more like the American recipe. So maybe another time. Still no word from any of the jobs I applied for, which is a bit sad. Yeah, it's a wee bit depressing. I'm starting to get a bit stir crazy being in the house. It's been about a month or so that I've been unemployed, and it's already starting to get to me. Like, I've watched Stargate 5 times now in the last few days. I'm also watching Luke Cage. That's come out and it's really good. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm trying to eke that one out a little bit. I'm trying not to watch it all at one go, because I did that with like all the other Marvel series and then I was all like, withdrawal. And it's weird for me to not have something to focus on and do. And I find that if I don't have something to get out of bed for, I will still get out of bed, but I won't necessarily make anything of the day. And I find that can be a real issue with unemployment, because it starts to spiral and you get into a real rut, excuse me, more cat hair, you get into a real rut of not having anything to focus on and not having anything to make you feel like you have some worth and you're, you know, giving something back. Even if it's just, it doesn't have to be like a really important job, even just something to make you feel that you're contributing in your own life. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, well, for myself personally anyway, it's not enjoyable for me to have to wait every fortnight for a government handout. I really, like, it doesn't make me feel good. I'm so used to working. And like, I've been applying for everything, even things that I'm not really necessarily qualified for, in the hopes that someone will give me a chance. I will work really hard and I do tend to pick things up quite quickly. which is probably why I've had such a varied working life. I've done a little bit of most things. Not that, don't be so dirty. I went down to the job centre yesterday and I had an appointment with one of their careers advisors, but I've never really been sure what I want to do with my life, and I think that's always been one of my main problems. I enjoy doing so many things and I'm interested in so many things that I've never really focused on any one thing, and that can be really hard because, you know, I don't seem to have any direction. I don't know where I want to go, and she was really good. She actually made me take one of those personality quizzes to tell me what my personality type is, and like I know what my personality is, I know what I'm like, but it was really interesting seeing it put down on a piece of paper, which I have here. So apparently my personal style is ENFP. Don't really know what that means, but my personality type is Purple Explorer. So apparently I'm an extrovert. I use my intuition. I feel my way through things rather than using logic. And I am perceptive rather than judgmental. And I don't mean judgmental as in a, you know, oh, you're a twat kind of a way. I mean as in judging as in being organised and planning. Apparently I'm more flexible and open-minded, or open-ended it says here. Don't know how I feel about that term. Give me a list of jobs that could potentially work out for me, and some of them are really interesting. There was like hat maker. Some of them are a bit pie in the sky. I mean, it's not like I'm suddenly going to wake up tomorrow and start inventing toys, but there's a lot of really interesting stuff in there for things that I could potentially work towards. So I think I'll have to spend a little bit of time working through that list and maybe seeing if any of them really interest me and do a bit of research on them. You never know, possibilities are endless, eh? I do think one of the things that I do need to do though is to learn how to drive. I think that that's a real holdback for me because it makes the scope of where I can work so much less. Although I must warn you that if I do learn how to drive, nobody's going to be safe. I literally can't even cross a road without causing trouble. Like I did the Tufty Club. I know what it's all about. I like, you know, stop, look and listen. And that's not really what I do. What I tend to do is look both ways while actually just starting to cross. And it's not really to see if any cars are coming, but it's more just to warn cars that I'm going and I'm not going to stop for them. And you know, it's something I've never been able to overcome. I'm really bad at crossing the road. So put that in like, you know, a metal vehicle and oh, I just hope for the best, I guess, but it's probably got to be done. Unfortunately, to do that, I will have to get at least some part-time work or something somewhere doing some old thing so that I can afford to pay for lessons for driving and then potentially a car because, you know, if I don't, then it's literally just a pie-in-the-sky dream. So, you know, there's no rush. It's not like I'm wasting away on my own in a small flat day by day. I mentioned in my first video, and I did it a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it is true, I am single now, and I was in my last relationship for 6 years, which is a really long time. It's the longest relationship I've ever had. So I mentioned something on Facebook the other day. I put something up that was, you know, about, you know, dating and all this kind of stuff, because dating is something that I am not massively experienced at. Growing up, I haven't actually dated a lot of people. There's been a few people and not a lot of them have been very serious. I have had a couple of serious relationships. One of them was really, really bad. It was a really bad relationship. I'm not going to get into that right now, but it was dreadful, really, really bad. But my most recent relationship, I would say, was probably the healthiest relationship I've ever had. But I'm like a bit nervous about dating at this age because I'm quite shy when it comes to initiating a relationship or trying to, and I would have in the past used a bit of Dutch courage to get myself over that hurdle, which is probably why some of the choices I've made for relationships haven't been the best, blinded by alcohol. But you know, I saw a meme on Facebook the other day and it basically said dating when you're an adult is like going to the dump and looking around for the least broken and disgusting thing. And I was like, oh wow, that's a wee bit scary. It's just, the whole idea freaks me out. So at this point in my life, I'm not expecting to like go out on a night out and walk into a bar and meet somebody and be like, oh yeah, you're the one, you know. think if it's going to happen, it's going to be much more organic than that. It's got to be much more natural. And I'm not, you know, walking around expecting to just bump into the love of my life in Asda or something like that. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but I just think that, you know, at my age, when you're having to go back out into the world and, you know, potentially think about dating again, it's like, I literally have no clue what I'm supposed to do. I have no idea. And it kind of doesn't help that whenever I, you know, do meet somebody that I like, I have a tendency to be a bit of an idiot around them because I get so nervous. You know, point in case, and it's maybe not the best example because, you know, nothing was ever going to happen here anyway, but when I was 20, I don't know how many of you are wrestling fans. I'm a huge wrestling fan, or I was anyway, back in the days when wrestling was any good. Bret Hart had started up his own kind of touring wrestling company, and they came to Belfast, and me and my brother got tickets and we went to see them. And there was a rumour going around after the show that Bret was going to come out and talk to people out the back gates of the Odyssey in Belfast. So of course we ran round from gate to gate trying to find where he was, and eventually we found the right gate, and you know, we're standing there, and I was like, you know, it's going to be so cool. Like, I've loved Bret Hart since I was 10 years old, and I was like, I'm going to meet my idol, it's going to be great, I'm going to look so cool, I'm going to, you know, at least impress him so that I could feel good about myself a little bit. And he walks out to come and speak to us. And I lost all composure, and I put my arms through the gates of the Odyssey and burst into tears and screamed, "Bret, I've loved you since I was 10. Alright, so you guys are me, and I will be using Scooter here, clearly a Bret Hart lookalike, to illustrate his reaction to me screaming his name through the bars of the Odyssey. So, you know, you're me screaming, "Bret, I've loved you since I was 10, and Bret Hart literally did this. And just sidled past as though, you know, he hadn't even heard what I'd said, and I was so mortified. It was the worst thing I've ever done in front of any celebrity, and yeah, I mean, that's me whenever I like somebody. And obviously, you know, nothing. It's not like Bret Hart was going to look at me and be like, "Yeah, Susie, I got you, you know, let's go, let's do this." But that is the kind of stuff that I come off with whenever I meet somebody that I like, so, you know, be warned. So yeah, I'm kind of freaked out about the whole idea of having to date again. It really bothers me. I don't even really know how to do it. Oh, it's so awkward. I think if I was to go on a date with somebody, I'd want it to be like really informal. A friend told me a little while back that one thing he loves to do when he goes on dates is to take the potential datee to Tesco, and I was a bit like, romantic. And he was like, "No, think about it, it's really, really great. Whenever you're, you know, sitting across the table from each other, it's really awkward and intimate, and you don't know this person very well. Or if you're in the cinema, it's dark and you can't really talk, and then there's all this, you know, should we hold hands, do we kiss, what do we do?" But if you're in Tesco's, it's really relaxed, you don't have to get too dressed up, and you're walking side by side, you can still talk, but you're not staring directly at each other. And you can like talk about some of the things that you see on the shelves, and that can initiate further conversation, and you know, you find out a lot about what the person likes and doesn't like. And I was like, wow, that's a really good idea. I really like that idea. So yeah, if you, you know, if I'm interested in you, I'll take you on a hot date to Tesco's. So, something for you to look forward to. Yeah, maybe I'll be single forever. That doesn't really bother me, you know. As long as they keep making interesting Marvel and sci-fi TV shows and bags of marshmallows, I'm pretty much set. And when I die, the cats can eat me, and the circle of life will continue. So, anyway, I hope you guys are all having a good week. I will be back with another thrilling installment of the life of Susie, hopefully with some news about some jobs or future plans, potentially further down the spiral, having stopped getting washed or putting my makeup on. Alright, so, bye!